Hi, welcome to Audiobook Academy. This is a self-paced audiobook. There's no need to keep an eye on things. Just pay attention. Thank you for taking the time to listen. This is a book summary of Onward. Cultivating Emotional Resilience in Educators by Elena Aguilar. That teaching is a vocation is something you may have heard before, but it isn't something you should take lightly. Teaching is, by its very nature, a high-stress occupation. Educators can be empowered and their stress levels can be reduced with the help of the book Onward, which is a guide to building resiliency in educators. It is through the lens of Aguilar that we gain a full understanding of how the politics, economics, and policies of a particular educational institution affect teachers as well as students. 70% of teachers leave their jobs within the first 5 years, according to a recent study. As a teacher, Elena Aguilar is acutely aware of the stress and mental health ramifications. After 25 years of teaching, Aguilar became a leadership coach and author. Onward was created by her in order to help teachers become more resilient. Aguilar has a comprehensive view of what it means to be a teacher. Aguilar wants us to play a role in bringing about educational reform. Teachers can benefit from her wisdom by incorporating positive psychology, neuroscience, and mindfulness into their practice. Anecdotes and insights gleaned from her work are sprinkled throughout the book, making it an excellent resource for classroom teachers. There is also a section in each chapter dedicated to school administrators. For anyone in the field of education, Onward should be a must-read. It's organized in a way that's easy for teachers to follow, with each chapter corresponding to a different one of the book's 12 resilience habits. A person's dispositions are linked to these habits, which are essential to their personality. Self-awareness is the first step. As a first step, it's important to define our core values so that everything we do aligns with what's important to us. The mission statement of a school can be re-examined if school leaders assist their staff in this endeavor. Aguilar believes that personality questionnaires, such as the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, can be extremely beneficial for employees. Extroverts and introverts are classified using this section of the Myers-Briggs personality test. In a fast-paced school environment, this will help us better understand how and when to replenish our energy. Experiencing life as a non-conforming member of the majority culture has made Aguilar acutely aware of her own political identity. She emphasizes the importance of developing an awareness of one's own identity and culture in order to recognize when one is imposing one's own perspective on others. We should all be aware that our cultural assumptions may not be grounded in reality. Self-awareness allows us to pinpoint why we may feel disrespected at times and to pinpoint the strengths of our own socio-political identities. 2. Recognize and manage your emotions. The second habit encourages us to connect with our emotions. How often do we take time to acknowledge our own feelings and emotions while we are in the classroom? When an event causes us to feel a strong emotional response, it sets in motion a chain of physical, mental, and behavioral reactions. It is possible to intervene at any point in this cycle if we know where we are in relation to the other steps. To help us better express and unpack our emotions, Aguilar provides us with a list of words that we can use, and then encourages us to work with them in a constructive way. Since when do you think that anger is an emotion schools don't handle? It's impossible to ignore anger, and it can even be constructive. It can, for example, be used as a source of power to right wrongs. On the other hand, it can suffocate other feelings, leading us to behave inappropriately. In order to find a solution, schools should dedicate time to exploring difficult emotions like anger. It's also important to tell inspiring stories. A teacher's arsenal should include narrative exercises. A person's life story tells others about who they are and what they aspire to achieve. Our stories have the power to empower us, and that's what Aguilar wants us to do. When she talks about a school principal, she's implying that he or she might walk right by us. It's common for us to assume that this is due to something we've done. It's more likely that they're thinking about something else. Because our storytelling tends to focus on the negative, it's essential to tell tales that encourage us to maintain a positive outlook. This is because positivity is essential to overcoming adversity. The fourth step is to create a community. Even beyond the classroom, schools serve as hubs of social interaction. All of us know that social connection is essential, and that it's a fundamental human need. As a result, it's not surprising that having a strong school community helps us be more resilient. Toxic cultures can do a lot of damage. These cultures can deplete one's energy and creativity. A healthy school culture, according to Aguilar, is one in which students are encouraged to listen and in which both individual and group accomplishments are celebrated. In addition, we should always deal with unhealthy conflicts and increase the transparency of decision-making. This section offers advice on how to practice empathic listening, monitor body language, and test our ability to communicate with people from a variety of backgrounds. Also addressed are unhealthy conflict, as well as gossip and other bad communication habits. Last but not least, she stresses the importance of reducing fear and not judging or isolating others when it comes to building a community. All members of a healthy community are treated with respect and courtesy. The fifth step is to cultivate mindfulness in schools. How many thoughts do you think you have during the course of a day? It's at least 65,000, according to the latest research. This is mind-boggling. Getting distracted by our own thoughts is nothing new. Distractions prevent us from living fully in the present moment, which is a problem with this behavior. Wouldn't it be more productive to observe these thoughts as fleeting mental occurrences? Aguilar encourages us to see, accept, and let go of our thoughts with an attitude of compassion, which will allow us to feel more at ease and in the moment. Rather than merely being a trendy concept, cultivating a sense of mindfulness from an early age is essential. Even a few minutes a day of mindfulness practice has the potential to improve one's mental and physical well-being. Moreover, it allows us to feel more joy and laughter. Self-care is number 6. I know it's easier said than done for teachers, but I'm going to tell you, it's not. Why do educators have such a difficult time putting themselves first? Aguilar attributes this to 4 areas of self-care that aren't being adequately addressed. A knowledge gap means we are frequently missing pertinent information. This is the first step. Secondly, there is a lack of self-care skills in our society. We also have a gap in will, where we don't feel like we need to be concerned about our own health and well-being. An emotional divide must be bridged as well. To avoid saying no to anyone, teachers are notorious for overcommitting. The central premise of this section is to dissect these mindsets and offer suggestions on how to achieve a better sense of equilibrium. It's time to take a look at the bright side. You can't tell people to look at the bright side of things. But focusing on what we're thankful for and what's going well has proven to have a positive impact on our mental health. When our brains are searching for negativity, they encourage us to focus on potential dangers. As a result, dwelling on the bad things in life is so easy. To counter this, Aguilar challenges us to pay attention to the good things happening in our classrooms. A strengths-based approach can help us see things in a new light. Developed by David Cooper, appreciative inquiry trains us to look at what is already working well and to ask questions that point us toward possibilities and positive change. Compassion is the 8th virtue to cultivate. There are few jobs that are as taxing as being a teacher. Teachers are subject to a great deal of interpersonal pressure, so it's easy to get caught up in the drama that can arise as a result of these strong reactions. Aguilar recommends cultivating a compassionate heart. She demonstrates how enhancing one's own empathy can help people deal with the problems of daily life more effectively. Practices that she recommends demonstrate the positive effects of compassionate behavior, such as improved health and willingness to collaborate. We can all benefit from cultivating an attitude of self-awareness. It reduces the production of stress hormones and enhances the body's immune system. Compassion, however, must first be shown to oneself. The importance of self-compassion cannot be overstated. As a way of gaining strength to look inward and determine what changes are necessary, it's not an excuse when things go awry. Since teaching is inherently a pastoral and caring profession, teachers are more prone than others to suffering from burnout. As we learn what we can and can't solve, she encourages teachers to cultivate serenity and the ability to detach when necessary. Become a lifelong learner. It's a two-way street, teaching and learning. Aguilar sees this connection as the reason why he encourages teachers to relearn. As a teacher, have you ever noticed that in the middle of the school year, you are more energized? Maybe this is the time when we can see the fruits of our labor and the progress our students have made? This could also occur at a different time of the year. It's always a good idea to take a step back and consider what it means to be a learner and how that manifests itself in the classroom. There are 6 distinct categories in which we can categorize what stands between our current ability and our desired ability, according to Aguilar's Mind the Gap tool. Emotional intelligence and cultural competence are also included in this list. When it comes to teaching vocabulary, for example, there may be a lack of knowledge and a lack of understanding of best practices. We can better address our gaps once we have a better understanding of them. 10th, have fun and be creative. You're never too old to have fun. When we play, we strengthen our bonds with one another, enhance our creativity and memory, and most importantly, we relax. It can be extremely beneficial to incorporate games and discussion prompts into all aspects of school life. Having fun isn't just for kids, and it shouldn't be treated as such. Play patches up our spirits and transforms our educational institutions. Musical, artistic, and theatrical play are all forms of play that are essential for the development of deep and creative thinking. It is essential to cultivate openness and positivity by engaging in creative activities, such as playing and practicing various forms of creativity. Ride the waves of change. Number 11. Even though change is unavoidable, why are so many of us unprepared to deal with it? For a broader range of emotional responses and, consequently, better choices of actions, Aguilar recommends exploring how we interpret change. Educators must be cognizant of the extent of their sway. Aguilar recommends that we all write down our grievances and see what we can do about it. Once we have a list and a plan in place, we can better focus our efforts on the things we can influence and the areas in which we want to invest time and attention. In order to deal with change, we can slow down and assess the situation, alter our perspective, and decide whether or not we should fight the change or be proactive in our response. Our approach to change matters a great deal. The secret is to deal with the emotions associated with change rather than being too aggressive or assertive about making changes, which can cause fear and shame in colleagues. To embrace change, you must take this approach, even if it takes longer. The 12th rule is to rejoice and express gratitude. What is it about your job that you enjoy? It's the most common reason people leave their jobs in the United States, regardless of industry. It is critical for students to feel included and respected in their school community. Teachers have a wide range of duties and responsibilities to fulfill. Schools need to create opportunities for teachers, students, and even parents to show their gratitude. Self-esteem is also important. 3 Things exercise, where you pick 3 small things that went well at the end of the day or we can explain how they were accomplished. Gratitude, rituals, celebrations, reflections, and spirituality all help to build a strong sense of self-worth. We need to tell our stories of love, sadness, healing, and resilience. That's how Aguilar puts it. To sum it up, becoming a teacher is usually a simple decision. As easy as it may seem, the work can be taxing on the body and mind. Resilience is required in how you respond and adapt to the work environment. According to Elena Aguilar's theory, classrooms and society as a whole benefit from teachers who are resilient. Multiple ways to translate theory into practice are provided by the author in this enlightening book. Through the book, her passion, practicality, and desire for teachers to be an integral part of the transformation of schools can be clearly seen. She doesn't sugarcoat the difficulty of the job, and she doesn't gloss over the high demands of teaching. Education professionals should read this book because of its straightforward approach. We won't make significant progress in our efforts to transform schools, in the words of Aguilar's own words. One must keep moving forward in order to ascend, as demonstrated by Aguilar. Thank you for listening in Audiobook Academy. Please don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. See you in next audiobook.